Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to take you on my journey of making a big junk journal. And so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a master board. Now, why would you want something like this? Well, I mean, it's just a big part that's going to be cut apart. So you're basically like quilting. You're cutting apart paper so you can put it back together. But this one is already dry and done. And what I've done is I've used a piece of scrapbook paper that, I'll never use. And created into something that, I will use. So we'll set that one aside and we'll create one of our own here. And I have here some, these are printouts of physical pages I've already created. I wanted to test them before, I offer them up for use. And so I'm just going to tear them into little pieces. And I have a lot of other random scraps too. But I'll tell you, this is pretty satisfying right here. So we're basically making a collage, and as you are tearing up your paper, you kind of, at least I kind of visualize how it's going to look mixed with other papers. So this isn't the only paper I'll be using. It's just some of the paper, and I won't even use all of this. But, as you tear it apart, it has new little lives there. Well, so sorry about that. Sometimes at work I test call my customers with my personal phone, and my phone was ringing, and I'm like, well, there's a caller ID on here, maybe I'll pick it up. And it was the sweetest lady. She's 80 years old and she just got a new cell phone, and she's looking for help setting it up. Honestly, it's my day off, so I'm not gonna be doing that, but I did get her going in the right direction. I love talking to people, by the way. So this is my kind of box of scraps, and I am tearing up some music paper and some book pages and just grabbing out more scraps from here, because I do need enough to fill up that 12 by 12 space, and some of my paper is thicker than others. It's fine. With the process that we're going to be doing, even if it lifts, it's still cool. And see, here's a piece of leftover of something I stenciled. Don't throw your stuff away, man. It's good for this. If nothing else, it's great for this. I'm just going to grab some old book pages here. See what else I have in the pile. And we'll start with that. I have that other piece set aside too in case I need to tear it up. But I'm trying to stay within a color theme, and you're gonna laugh when I say that now, and I'm staying within a color theme, and then I completely change the whole thing. But it's still underlying, so that's that. So what I do is I take one of my little silicone mats, and here's a piece of scrapbook paper that I will never use. So I'm gonna just flip it over and use the white side. Now I could have done it on the printed side as well, but you guys know me, and honestly, I'm going to get that white filthy dirty anyway. So I'll show you at the end of the video what I do to kind of remedy that. So I like to take this little silicone mat, and I'm going to clean it off here with an alcohol wipe, and I like to keep my alcohol wipes handy. The same one so that I can wipe up the glue time to time, because when you're using a glue stick, obviously, you're wanting to make sure that you get all the edges, and so you go over and you get gluey glue everywhere. I'm going to be using an Elmer's glue stick, which I don't know if one is better than the other. I saw another YouTuber use this one, and she recommended it, so hey, why not? So I'm just going to start gluing down pieces, starting at the outside edge, and you can trim the edge or not, it's up to you. It's your master board. You're going to do with it what you will. But see, I take a dry paper towel and just kind of press it down. Then I'm just going to start gluing on paper, and I won't make you watch me glue on the whole mess, because it is a little time consuming, but it is a great scrap buster too. And I was thinking about what another YouTuber was talking about. All my stuff, okay? I have so much stuff. It's ridiculous. And I'm stuff that I don't use. And so I'm just, committed for a couple of months anyway to see if I can survive without buying any more craft supplies. Now, that being said, I did buy another Stabilo All pencil today, but I needed it. It's, wasn't some, beautiful stamp set that somebody else used and I felt like I had to have. It's something that I use all the time. So those kind of staples, yes, I may buy, but, full stamp sets and, I'm saying that until Tim Holtz comes out with something new, probably sometime this month. Anyways, I'll glue the rest of this together off camera here, and I'll be back when I've got it completed. All right, so I've got the whole page covered, and it's just got all kinds of just miscellaneous all over it. There's the back side. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually grab my gesso, and at first I think I'm going to put my gesso down on this thin paper. And I like to sample my stamps on that thin paper, but I'm using, by the way, Dina Wakely's gesso. And then, like, if you see, like, the little button stamps in there, that's where I sampled the stamp onto that thin paper. And then I use it in my collages. I'm going to take just a little bit that's in the lid, and I'm going to place it down on my glass mat, and then I'm going to add some water because I don't want it to be real super thick. I'm just going to be doing a very light coating of gesso over this whole thing. Not, you see, it's just kind of scrapey marks that I'm putting, and it's just to kind of, I don't know, even the playing field. Gives it a little bit of a distressed look versus just, chopped up paper. I mean, in the end, yeah, you'll see, but this is how I like to do it anyway. I've done it where I've done a thicker coat of gesso and basically covered everything. And then just other times where I've just done here and there. And if a little paper might pop up on you, that's okay. It's all part of the process. So let's go ahead and get the lid on here and kind of wipe up that excess gesso. I need to find a better system so I don't waste all that, but I don't know what that system's going to be just yet. Some sort of a palette or bowl or something. So you can see up close, it kind of looks like an old painted wall. And I'm just kind of wiping out underneath it. Oh, this is nothing compared to the mess that you're going to see coming up. That's for sure. But what I'm looking for here is I'm actually looking for my little heated tool. I'm not sure where the heck I put it. Because this isn't quite dry and I need it to be dry for the next step. So I'm just going to heat it up. Anyway, my job, I talk to a lot of people who have no experience with, mobile devices, tablets or jetpacks or cell phones, iPhones, Android phones, whatever. And I really enjoy the people who are really advanced in age and still have, the cell phone, and they're just, I just love them. They're so cool. So I have no idea why I was pointing at that there, by the way. No clue. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this, this is Antique Linen Distress Spray. It's a distress spray stain. There we go. I'm going to spray a little on, and then I'm going to just kind of rub it in with a paper towel. Because I put the gesso in there, that gesso is going to kind of soak it in. And then I'll grab a little bit of vintage photo and just a couple of spots and rub that in as well. So you see, I still have my colors, but they are being very distressed at this point. And I don't care if this is rubbed in perfectly. I don't care if it has thick, ucky spots. I don't care at all. I just want to get, the white out of there for the most part. I'm going to swipe up again. And I will take my heated tool now and I'll give it a dry for a little bit. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be filming, processes of all the different things that I'll be doing for my junk journal. And then I'll do a flip through in the end when it's finished. And at that point, I'll make a playlist. So, people who don't care about junk journals, well, then you don't have to look at them. But I thought that, I would go ahead and show you my experience here, because I have only made 2 junk journals, and they weren't anything that, would be something like, I've seen these things for sale on Etsy for expensive. Not that I intend to sell it at all. I will give it away, but I digress. What I'm going to do next here is I'm going to coat the whole thing with this collage medium. And I have this little Tim Holtz distress brush that he recommends for using collage medium. And I'm first going to clean out the cap, and then I'm going to dip in, and I'm just going to coat this whole entire page with the collage medium. I want to do that for 2 reasons. 1, to help all the paper stick down, and 2, so I can do the next step without any issues of things soaking too much into the paper and stuff like that. So, if you get collage medium on here, or, I mean, you could probably use Mod Podge or whatever, but I'm sticking with what I have and what I know, and this stuff dries pretty quick too. So that's a bonus there. Now, you might notice that some of your papers may start to bubble. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Even if they tear, it's fine. It's a junk journal. It's supposed to be, mine's going to be distressed. So, and my kind of theme is from the paper pad of Tim Holtz, which is called Abandoned. And, I'll be using several papers from that pad, but also I need to make my own ephemera and stuff. I really want to steer away from purchasing any, although I do have printables, and I make my own printables too. So you'll see those in future videos as well. So now that this is dry, I'm going to go on to the next step. And the next step is going to be working with my stencils. So I'm going to get out my little mat here in case I need it. And I do like to put my, there's a goober under there. I like to put my inks on top of that so that when I'm dipping into them, they don't move around on me. And for this, because of the color scheme that I'm going for, I need some really intense colors. So I'm going to go with the Lavinia Elements ink, Lavinia Stamps Elements ink. I'm going to go with the Blue Lagoon. I'm going to go with the Truffle. I'm going to go with the Henna. I'm going to go with the Sahara. And Mermaid, I think that is. And what other, I think, yeah, there we go. Oh, there's Mermaid. That other one I grabbed, I don't know. I don't know what that one is. I think it might be Bermuda. So, and I'm grabbing my Tim Holtz stencils, and each color is going to get its own stencil. So first I'm going to grab this little, I don't know, weird spotty one. And I'm going to grab one of my Lavinia stencil brushes. I love stenciling with these. They're wonderful. And I'm going to start out with the Mermaid here. And I'm just going to go in some random spots and just blend in some ink. Pretty simple. And, I'm not going to cover the whole thing, just bits and pieces. I've got some there. Let me just turn my paper. Let's get some over here. See, these kind of stencils are my favorite because you don't have to be perfect with them. Now, I won't be adding any physical texture to this because I'm going to be cutting it up. And, I'll want to do individual texture as I go, depending on the element that I'm trying to create, whether it's a pocket or a journaling card or a tag. And what I did notice about junk journals is there are a lot of tags, so I will be making tags. I don't know what for. And so what I like to do then is I like to take and bring some of this color up into the page. So you can see any colors that I've created before are basically buried, but that's okay. You know, I've still got the texture there. I've still got the black and white, or black and dirt, or whatever. I just, I love these colors so much that I want to bring them in, and they go, again, with my theme. So, you know, there's a purpose for that. And it's pretty random, you know, where I'm putting it, just where my heart takes me, I guess. Put that one away, and let me just dab that little sponge off here, and let's grab a different stencil. Let's see here. What do I want? They're attached to this ring. I'm just going to take this ring off so I can dig through them easier. Yeah, I'll take this speckly dirt one. Or mud splashes, or whatever. And I'll go ahead and go in with the Blue Lagoon with those. And of course, I'm not going to put them, you know, in the same spot I put my other ones, but if I go over, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Let's pick that up, turn the page over, get this one in a little bit more towards the center of the page. And these things are a trip when you cut them back apart. They make great, just, you know, quick backgrounds too for a card, any size card. Great for doing ATCs. If you had to do, I don't know, you could get 12 out of there, I think. No, I don't have any idea how many you can get. Probably 12. I don't know. You tell me. How many can I get out of a 12 by 12? Let's see. If they're 2.5, yeah, no maths. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to sweep some of this color in. And fairly randomly. I do want some, you know, kind of towards the center. So I'm dabbing off a little, and then I'm just going to pull and push and swipe back and forth. And the color is similar to the mermaid, but it isn't the same. It moves around fairly easily on top of that that distress collage medium, which is why I wanted to add it, for one. Because I didn't want, you know, I wanted everything to blend smoothly here. So I'm going to go in with the henna now, and the henna is kind of a reddish, purplish, brownish color. I don't know. And I'm going to do the water spills or the coffee spills or whatever, and I'm going to do those in the henna. And I'm just going to do a couple of them. I don't need a ton. Okay, there's one. Let's grab another. And we'll do it over here. So you see the pages coming together. It's all right, Duke. Dad'll be back in a little bit. My dog's outside my door freaking out because Mike's not here. He went to the store. I'm going to go ahead and pull some of this color in. All right, let me grab this dog. And usually I'll let him come in my room when Mike's not here. Hang on. Come on, Duke. Come on, Dewey. Come on. Duke. Come on, Duke. Come on. Right here. Lay down. Lay down. All right, crisis averted here. Now we've got the henna color going on here. And now I'm going in with the truffle, which is kind of a brownie, brown color. Well, it's the color of a truffle, which I don't think I've ever seen an actual real truffle. But I know that pigs like them. And let's go ahead and just go over the top of some of this other. The other thing about these Lavinia inks is they blend together nicely no matter what. Okay, there we are with the truffle. We just bring some of that in. Oh, but there's more, folks. There is so much more. Oh, boy. Yeah, I really like that color. And I'm going to go in with one other color. I'm done with stencils for now. But I do want to go in with the Sahara. And let me grab a lighter brush here for that. And I'm just going to go in randomly and add the color. It changes everything, see? Just going in where the white is, and it blends really nicely with the mermaid and the lagoon, the blue lagoon. And, well, it blends nicely with all of them. These Lavinia colors just get along really well. I can't wait to see what they come up with next. I'm just going in randomly and just filling in any major white space. Now you could call that done right there if you wanted to, but I'm going to give this a couple minutes to dry, and then we'll come back to it and do the completion. I just wanted to show you what I'm going to do here with these dirty stencils. I'm just going to spray some water on them, and I'm just going to pick up that color onto, this is a piece of watercolor paper, and not, you know, I'm not really caring about how it really comes out. I'm just kind of picking up the color, and it kind of sort of picks up the pattern as well. And then when I get ready to use those, I'll show you what I did with one of them. Because, you know, again, you're going to need to be making your own ephemera and things like that. I might make buttons. I might make other kinds of closures, coins, you name it. And, ooh, this blue is so pretty. So let's go in. Let's grab some of that. Just water it down and then press it down onto the page. Kind of grab up as much as I can without completely saturating it with that color. It did kind of change the nature of the henna color, though. It kind of gave it a more purpley feel. And these, you know, they stain. It's okay. Doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt anything. You can see I used it with some black VersaFine Clair, and that's never coming off unless I use some sort of harsh cleaner on it, which I'm not. You know, as long as it doesn't come off onto my next project, I don't care how it looks. Let's grab the one with the mermaid, and let's try something different here, see if I can make it work. So I'm going to slap that down and then just kind of press it down onto the glass. Probably would have worked better, of course, on a jelly plate, or a gel plate, but I don't want to get mine out, so another day. Another day. And it kind of worked. Kind of, sort of. We'll just smudge some of that on there. Wipe that off and complete cleaning that. Slap it down on there a couple more times. And I'll just continue to wipe that off. But I did want to show you, you know, something you can do with your dirty stencils. Hey, that worked. Cool beans. So as to not waste your beautiful ink. The Lavinia doesn't have re-inkers for these, which makes my heart hurt because they're not cheap. Yeah, that's right. I've got this one with the, that's the one with the henna. The other one was the truffle. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm done smooshing right for now. I'll just clean this off. What I noticed too is that if you use like pixie spray on your stencils, it's harder to clean them because that stuff, it leaves behind debris, and I noticed that a lot. So I try to avoid pixie spray whenever possible. I just prefer not to have my stencils all gummy. I'll figure something out, right? See, there's what I did with one of these. I made a little tag with it. So, well, it's not a little tag. It's actually a pretty good size tag. And we'll make a tag with this collage paper that we're working with, too. The one that I already did, since this one that we're working on is going to be wet for an hour or so. So I'm going to bring it back in. And I'm going to grab up some of my favorite Tim Holtz stamps. Just making sure that it's dry. And I'm going to grab my VersaFine Clair because everything stamp-wise is going to be stamped in black. And let's see, which I'm grabbing 3 or 4 different stamp sets. So I've got the Field Notes. I've got this, my favorite one. This is, I don't know, an oldie. But I like the little targets in there. And then I've got words right here that I want to use in this set. So, I mean, sky's the limit. You can do any color scheme, any stamp set, anything you want. You know, depending on your theme and your vibe, kind of, your jam. And, you know, my jam is grungy and colorful. So, that's what I'm going for here. But colorful in the sense that, I don't know, I mean, it's not like rainbowy or anything. It's just got colors that I'm attracted to. So I'm going to take 4 of these little stamps and put them on one stamping block. Just to save time, because I'm going to stamp them down fairly randomly. But it's just going to save me from having to put them on, take them off, put them on, take them off. I have a larger stamping block, but it's kind of heavy and I end up dropping it a lot. And even if I dropped it, it wouldn't be the end of the world because, you know, that's what we're going for here, is just kind of a collage look. When it gets more ink down. I make such a mess when I'm working. Okay, put this one right here. Sure, why not? And then I'm going to go ahead and speed this up while I'm doing my stamping process. Okay, so on with those stamps, and then I think I'll do one more set of that one. Get that stamped down right there, works for me. And then I'll just start grabbing other stamps here. We move these kind of out of the way. And I think I want this little round one right here. And let's go ahead and grab this number. And this one I'm going to do individually because it's just quicker. I'm just going to randomly stamp them. Don't care if I get the stamp all the way down. Don't care if it's a second generation. Just get them down. Let's get some of these little label things on there. All right. I'm going to move that whole set aside and grab a different set. I think I'm going to go in with my words next. Okay, that fits just fine on that Simon Hurley stamping block. Go ahead in with the VersaFine, and you don't even have to put it on a stamping block if you don't want to. You can just do, you know, pick it up with your hands, but we all know what a disaster I make with my hands. So I'm getting, you know, those words in lots of different random places and random directions. Okay, done with the words. Now we're going to get this set, and I'm going to get my big heart, and now I'll need my big stamping block here. And ink that up real good, and I'm only going to put it in a couple of places. Just to kind of help fill in. Yeah, one more right over here in a random direction. There we go. Get that one set aside, and I'm going to get this little cityscape. But this is also one of my favorites. Just, I don't know. I just think it's cool. It's so urban. And I'll stamp that down in a couple of spots. Good boy, raining like crazy. I'm sorry for anybody that's stuck in crazy snowstorms right now. We're not getting snow here in Alabama today. Maybe overnight, maybe. I'm going to grab this little row of stars, and again, another favorite. Yeah, this is probably my favorite stamp set that Tim Holtz put out. Maybe. Well, you know, I think I said before, it's like trying to pick a favorite kid. Yeah, no. Love them all equally, but I especially love this one. It has my heart. And then I'm going to get this little Target stamp and hit it in a couple of places, because it's just cool. And it, you know, it puts an interesting element into your project. Let's see, one more right there. I think that'll be good. Okay, stamping is done. Wash my hands, let that dry. And now I am going to go in here and I'm going to add some white splatters. And I'm going to do that with my gesso. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little glob here on my little stamping platform. And then I'm going to give that a lot of water. And I'll just mix it up. This is a Tim Holtz kind of splatter paint brush. And it works great for this. And I'm just going to set that down, get it out of my way, and flick it. And, you know, I recommend doing this in a spot where you don't care if you get paint everywhere. Because it does splatter, you know, pretty heavy sometimes. But I'm just going to splatter on the white specks here. And I'm getting, you know, quite a bit. Yeah, no, I want the whole page to be covered either in a small or a large speck. And I'll go ahead and kind of clean up my mess here. And what happens here is the gesso, when it's watered down, if the spots are small enough, they sort of take on the color that's underneath. But they especially will when I do the next step. And believe me, guys, we're almost done. But I tell you, this is fun and it's quite zen. So, you know, it feels like something to do where you don't have to actually measure or think about very much. You know, especially if you're in a crafting funk, there's nothing better than to pull together one of these collages. It just is inspiring. So what I'm doing now is I'm hitting this with water, because the Lavinia ink is water reactive, but the black ink is not, the VersaFine. So I will get a little bit of a reaction out of that Lavinia ink, and I like the look of that. I'm still going to let that sit for a minute while I wipe up a little bit more. It's kind of like a crazy quilt. Look, there's a little heart shape. Do you see it? Right there. That's cool. Look, I smudged a little and it doesn't matter. And let me just go ahead and just add a glob of water right there and see what happens. I can see the ink running and it's making a really super cool effect. I love it. I don't want it to pull up too much though in one place, because this is, you know, watercolor paper. Now what I've just put in here now is some fossilized amber. Distress spray stain, because I love the color. That's all, just because I love the color. And I'm going to have to take my heat tool to this. And it's such a big puddle, I really don't want it warping my paper too much. So what I end up doing is just letting it kind of drip off. You know, tilt the paper. But look at how that ink is doing. I love it. I do. And let's just let that kind of drip down. Now that's a color that I never took out of the ink holder. I like it. You could do that as much or as little as you want. I'm going to give this a bit of a dry before I go on to the final step. Because I want the white paint, the white gesso, to kind of set, at least at the on the surface. Okay. So what I'm getting out now is I have now I've let that dry some. I have this Daler-Rowney, it's ink, basically. I don't know if it's necessarily India ink, but it's black ink and it's really thin. And you could use black paint. You could use the Tim Holtz Distress Paint in Black Soot, but I can't find mine. So I'm going with ink. And I'm going to use my little fan brush. I'm just going to dip it in the lid there where I poured some ink. And from high up, I'm going to start splattering with black. And then as the ink drops off, I'll get in closer. And there's some spots that I want kind of heavy. Just kind of control the, I like doing it this way because I can kind of control where it goes. Sort of. And I'm going to go ahead and just touch my brush down. Let's see what happens here. I mean, honestly, experiment. Do your thing. Have fun with it. Okay, I'm good with black. Now we have to set this aside and let it dry. Now what I do with this ink is I like to pour the ink back into the container, and I like to take a paper towel and wipe out the cap. And the reason for that is because I don't know if this ink is sticky or not, but if it is, it's going to get all crusty on my, you know, when you try to unscrew it, and I hate that, so I just try to wipe it out. Oh my gosh, you guys, I hope I see that heart later and remember to not cut that out. Not cut it in half or something when I'm chopping away at this paper. So, yeah, it's a mess. It's messy. You could put paper down or something like that. That'd be fine. Looks like May's got a video. Looks like she might be live. I don't know. Anyway. Let's go ahead and just wipe this off a little bit more, and then I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to show you what I might do with a master board like this. Kind of, you know, wipe this down a little bit more so I don't get ink all over my master board. Ha ha ha. So here's the one that I did previously, and it's dry already. It's been dry for a day or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my Big Mama chopper here. And this is just a swing line chopper. I have one of those other kind where you glide it, but I don't like it with thick paper. I just rather use this. The only thing about this is it doesn't have like a hand guard, so you know, you can hold the paper down. You have to actually move your hand to make sure your paper stays steady. So what I did was I cut a 4-inch piece off of there. There's still plenty left, you can see. But I'm going to take my normal chopper now that I've cut it down to a manageable size, and I'm going to cut it down to 6 inches on the one side. Well, I'm basically cutting it in half. Okay, and then decide which side I'm going to use, and I'm going to cut that down to 3 inches. So it's a 3 by 6, and we'll make a tag out of it. Dude, stop it. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and use one of my tag jigs. I have 2 of them, but one of them's not attached to anything, so it's easier to grab. Let's see, where are my scissors? And I'm going to use the 3/4 inch side. And I'm just going to trim that side off, and then I'm going to flip my jig around. So I'm at 3/4 on the other side. And just keep those edges aligned, and you'll get a perfect cut. And there we've got a tag shape. Okay, but here's the thing. That tag on the back of it has what? It has that scrapbook paper, right? So I'm going to take this manila folder, and sorry, the yellow color seems to change the tone of my camera. That's weird. Never noticed that before, but yeah, that's weird. Anyway, so if my camera colors are going crazy, that's why. It just doesn't, it's going crazy over that color. So I'm going to trim this one down, and I've got it doubled up here. I'm going to trim that also to 6x3. And just get my trimmer out of the way. Sorry about that, got interrupted again. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this one down too, using my 3/4 inch jig. There we go. And then I can just glue it onto the back, and that can be a place to journal or whatever. It'll just clean it up. And, you know, of course I'm getting this one inky because I need to wash my hands yet again. My poor hands get sore from so much washing. I'm just going to use regular glue to glue it on, and I don't even care if it's glued on perfectly. And the whole point of it is to be, you know, I don't know, messy. All right, let's get this glued on there. Try and get them on as straight as I possibly can. And move it around. Try not to press down completely until I have it where I want it. And if some hangs over, I can cut it off. But I want to grab a paper towel here, because I'm trying to smush the glue in with my hands, and I realize that I'm probably going to get it really dirty. So let me grab a paper towel and use the paper towel to kind of smooth it down. There we go. There, I can press down on it without destroying it with my smudgy fingerprints. And then I'm just going to trim off that excess there because, I don't know, you know, measuring on that thing sometimes doesn't actually, it's not accurate, or the user is inaccurate. Who knows? Yeah, there we go. And I don't care about that little spot peeking out at the bottom. I kind of like it. I might even curl up that bottom. Let me go ahead and grab my hole punch here and make the hole in it, and then I'm going to distress it. Okay, that looks about right, just eyeballing it. You could measure if you want to. I can't be asked. Okay, let me find my little... I use one of these flat foams for edge distressing. It just works better. It soaks up more and it puts down more. And, you know, it's a little squishier and they're cheaper. So, because this does kind of wreck them. After a while, they get pretty torn up. So I'm just using this walnut stain distress ink to just distress the edges here. And then I want to distress the back as well, so it doesn't, you know, so that it's all cohesive. So I'm just kind of lightly going over the whole thing and just heavier on the edges. My cameras do not like that color. That's crazy. All right, now let's find some stuff to go on here. Let's see, do I like that moon guy on there? I do. Yes, I do. What else? What else can go on here? I've got this little doodad I made. Remember I showed you the video where I made coins? Well, I also made some just doodads, messing around, just got weird organic shapes, and you know, I glued down a brad to it and put it on one of those light bulb type pins with a little tassel, which I bought these tassels, gosh, years ago when I thought I was going to make and sell earrings. But then I got, I don't know, I wasn't happy with the earrings I was making or something like that. And So those tassels have just been sitting there begging to be used. And also, yeah, they were kind of bent up, which I wasn't crazy about. All right, I want a word here. Yep, sing's going to be the word, absolutely. I just love that little moon. That's a printable that I downloaded. Gosh, I can't even remember where, but it was free. And I just printed out several of them. I've been getting a lot of my printables on at the Library of Congress website because they're, you're free to use them. They're not like, they don't belong to anybody necessarily. I can't think of the word. I never can think of the word, but I know you guys know what I mean. Like I could use them and sell my product that I made with it or stuff like that. Let me see here. I've got a little piece of fabric. This is some fabric that I dyed with the distressed spray stain and stamped with the VersaFine Clair in the black. Let's throw a little piece of fabric down on there. And scrunch it up a little bit, glue it down. Okay, and then we'll get the sing word back on there. I'm going to need some more glue. But I didn't like it sitting by itself. It needed to have some sort of an anchor, and you could even do more anchors. But since I'm using this doodad, I really don't want to do much more on the tag. Now, I'm going to pin it here, but it doesn't want to work out pinned there. It just doesn't sit right. I need it to be able to sit kind of flat. So I'm going to take that off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to grab some sari ribbon. That I don't want to use the same ribbon. I want something different. I'm going to grab the little piece scrap I have of sari ribbon, and I'm going to put the sari ribbon through the little hole here. And just tie it in just one square knot, not even a square knot, just tie it like that with one turn, and then I'll place the pin right inside that little turn, kind of make the adjustments, pull that down and around so it hangs right. Get that little tassel hanging right, and there we go. We took our collage paper and made a cool little tag. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this excess so it'll fit nicely into a pocket, and I'll go ahead and ink up the edge there of the moon man as well so that they all play together very nicely. Well, I hope you enjoyed my process video, and I look forward to showing you more videos, and then also, the final journal when I get it done. Because this is just a lot of fun. I'm excited to get my art stacks because, that's kind of going to be more journal fodder material, whatever. So, there's a cool little scrap. Look at that. What can we do with that? This you could use as a card, as a background for a card or a journaling tag. Plenty left here. You could cut it into a bunch of circles if you wanted to. Now this looks to be about 1 inch, and I do have a 1-inch circle punch, but what I find out is that it's not quite 1 inch, but it still makes a cool little doodad. Where is my 1-inch circle punch? Here it is. I'm gonna kind of get this stuffed in there. Get it as even as I can, punch a circle. I need a 1/2-inch circle punch one of these days. There's a cool little doodad, and the little extra pieces are as well. Well, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I do thank you all for supporting my channel, and if you'd like to see more videos from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified for any more new videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.